Good evening, all. The Town of Rocky Hill Planning and, I would like to call the Town of Rocky Hill Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting of Wednesday, April 17th, 2024 to order. Item 2, public comments. Anyone in the public who would like to address to the commission on agenda items that are not on the agenda items?
No rush now.
I don't see any, so move on to item 3, consent agenda.
Motion to adopt a consent agenda.
Can I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
All in favor of the agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Just to confirm who's sitting, all of us?
All
Regular
regular
members?
5. Yep.
Okay, making sure.
Item 4, agenda item A.
Accept withdrawal request, plan modification application, Ace Hardware 43 Corporation, proposing an outdoor retail location and 2 parking spaces and parking lot of 945 Cromwell Avenue in a C Commercial Zoning District ID 16-262.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Can I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item B.
Pre-application, Salvatore Sardo Jr. for discussion purposes, the possible addition of 2 residential units to the rear of the site in a detached structure on property with 2 existing residential units located at 48 Church Street in a Town Center zoning district ID 10-022.
All right.
Hi, I just want to state for the record that this is a pre-application, and under the state law, it's non-binding on the possible applicant, and it's also non-binding on the commission. The commission cannot say, I like this application, if it comes in, I'm going to approve it, or I don't like the application, I'm going to deny it, because that's not why they're here. They're here just to present what their ideas are. Obviously, there may be some issues with process that the commission can certainly ask questions on. But I would have a good exchange, give and take, ask a lot of questions, and hopefully the possible applicant can answer your questions for you.
Okay. May I pass some of these out?
Sure. Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you. This will be for the file.
Thank you.
Q.
Thank you.
Guess I don't get one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So what we're looking to do is to,
You can,
First, yeah, you have to
take
introduce
your
yourself.
name,
oh, I'm sorry.
name and
I'm
address.
Salvatore Sardo, Jr. We're proposed addition at 48 Church Street. So what we're looking to do is to add an addition on. Initially, we were thinking of a separate dwelling, but looking at what the neighboring property has, they have done an addition as well, and adding 2 more units to the property. What we would do is extend off the back area of the property there. And if we retain the 2-car garage, that would allow us 2 more parking spaces, potentially adding 1 up front, right by the roadside, and then 3 or 4 lined up in the back, depending on how much green space would be needed for the development. And that's pretty much it, yeah.
All right.
I just want to note for the commission that it is in the town center zone. The town center zone allows for a variety of residential uses. It allows for active adult housing in accordance with Section 6C. I'm reading from Section 4B1 of our current regulations. It also allows for residential units in 1 or more mixed-use buildings or as a part of a mixed-use project. That was a fairly a newer amendment effective November of 2020. So those are what would be allowed in that zone now. The property historically was a mixed-use, I believe, with a real estate office and an apartment above in the past. It originally started out as a two-family home, and then went back to the two-family home. You can't abandon a non-conforming use. And then, now the gentleman here is in for a pre-app to discuss, what about 2 additional units on that site?
So if you can just provide information on what the use is today on the existing building? I
Residential.
know it's.
It's
okay.
currently residential,
So it-
1-bedroom upstairs and a 2-bedroom on the first floor. We're looking to do potentially 2-bedroom, 1 bath on each floor.
Yeah, I'll open up a floor for comments. Commissioner Zarelli?
The question I would have is, when we look at multifamily, we also look at affordable opportunities. I'm just looking at your plan, so I'm just looking at your plan. Would you, actually, I can't say would you, because this is a pre-application. So some of the things that we look at as a commission when we look at something like this are, first of all, question to Kim, would this be, if they came in, would this be a site plan application?
The residential uses currently in the TC zone are by special permit. But right now, it doesn't quite meet that regulation, because we don't have a mixed use. We're not converting office to multifamily, that wouldn't apply. It's not an active adult unless it's age restricted. I don't know is there any age restriction on what's existing right now?
No.
Okay. So this is strictly a multifamily, so it would have to be modified. The town center zoning would have to be modified with a text amendment. So that zoning would have to be modified. So that's part of the process. Yep.
Just want to make sure we're all on the same page, just so you know, when it comes to a pre-app, it's a 2-step process, but it could be part of the same process.
Correct,
There's a
so-
site plan, and there's also a zone change, because can't be only residential in that zone.
Correct. The town center zone is a mixed-use zone, so that's part of the issue.
Some of the other things that we look at as a commission is, enough green space, enough places for parking. Everything else seems like it's just really straightforward there. Ultimately, it comes down to the use in the zone.
One thing we did do with the multifamily housing and compliance with new state laws is to reduce the parking requirement. So a 1-bedroom is 1 space, a 2-bedroom is 2 spaces, that we cannot require more than that. If they wish to propose that, they can, but that would be for the site plan on the road, if they come back.
Okay?
Good.
I'm good, yeah. Well, actually, let me go backwards. Our definition of multifamily is 3 or more attached residential dwelling units. So because this is 4, is that the trigger? Or if it was 3, it's still a trigger? It actually says 3 or more, so it's a trigger no matter what. Okay. I corrected myself. I have nothing else, really.
Commissioner Gligo?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Is this proposed addition for the first floor and the second floor? So you're separating, it's 2 floors?
Correct.
So, yeah, there's a first floor apartment, second floor,
Correct.
and the proposed addition is going to accommodate both?
Correct. Would be, Unit 3 and Unit 4.
So there's going to be 4 units total?
Well, yeah, there's 2 units now.
That's what I'm asking. I thought
2
this was
units.
going to be part of the first floor. So the
No.
first floor would have 2 bedrooms.
No.
No, this is a second.
Separate unit. Okay,
There's two here now, he wants to have two more,
okay, but two on each floor,
or one on each floor.
one on each floor. Okay, got it.
Yeah, 1 2-bedroom on each floor. Yep.
That's it.
So would you match the existing height? Is that the intent?
Yes, yeah. We'd try and blend it in
Okay.
seamlessly, yeah.
Okay.
With the roof line and everything, yeah.
All right. Nothing else?
Commissioner?
Nothing, except I have a comment. I think due to the fact that it's only 4 units, I don't think affordable housing statute applies to this, or does it?
I
It
think
does.
that's up to us.
Yeah, it's up to.
The affordable housing, if someone's coming in with, for example, an 830G application, they would have to do 30% of the units. You're suggesting maybe asking for one of the units to be affordable. So that would be a 25%, whatever. Under the town center zone, I think we had, what did we have, 25 or 15%? We did have a percentage, like we did in Kelson Row, so we did have a percentage there. No, it was 10% of the units. With the number of housing units in a development in the town centers, if it exceeds 10, at least 10% of the units shall be deed restricted. So this does not exceed 10. So if you want to ask for that, that would be up to a
No, I'm
possible
just saying- I'm
applicant.
just saying that it
whether or
doesn't
not,
apply
but
based
it
on the
doesn't
overall-
apply here.
The theoretical proposal that
Correct.
we don't have in front of us. Okay, that's it for me.
Right, Commissioner?
So, so the existing house is 2-family with 1 bedroom on each floor. And that one's only 1,075 square feet, so those are,
2-bedroom on the first floor
oh,
and 1 on the second.
oh. So 500, so that's kind of small, right? 500 square feet?
Where?
Well, the existing and the proposed. The proposed is 1 bedroom each floor, right? 500 square feet?
Proposed? No.
Oh, 2 bedrooms each floor,
2 bedrooms each floor.
500 square feet.
No. Believe the footprint is 1,000 square feet, so each floor. would
Oh,
be
1,000 square feet each floor.
Each floor,
Okay,
right.
okay.
One on top of
My
each
bad.
other.
I'm thinking total square footage of the house, not
Yeah.
the footprint. All right. No, that was my only question. I just thought that would be a little small. But, and then the only other thing is it looks like you're trading off one existing parking area that already is outside the setback areas, but just trading that off with another parking area that would be within the setback areas, but close. But even so, I mean, it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off.
And those are just preliminary without having a
Yeah,
site
yeah,
plan.
it
and-
just, yeah, I mean, I don't see anything,
There would have to be at least, there would have to be 7 parking spaces based upon their proposal.
oh,
And this isn't a site plan. anyway.
Correct. But, should they apply, there would have to be 7 parking spaces.
okay.
Sure.
So, you need 7 spaces. I don't have anything else.
So would any of those parking spaces have to be handicapped accessible?
Not for residential.
necessarily.
Consider that.
But that's a,
That's,
Will that be considered in your
That would
plan,
be
any
a
handicapped
site plan.
It
accessible?
could be, certainly, yeah. I mean, would that be based on
if there's
resident
20, if there's
needs?
25 spaces, you need 1 space. So,
But this is residential.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just,
yeah,
Curious.
if you have 25 spaces, you need 1 accessible space, so,
No handicapped people living there.
yeah,
Would you have to dedicate a handicap?
Doesn't matter.
it wouldn't be.
So I think what I'm looking at is how would this project meet the town center requirement, which is mixed use? There is no percentage like 50, 75, 20, but there is a percentage, it could be 10, 8, 90, whatever it is. But how does that meet the definition of the town center. And, you know, the thing is, it's that whole area was designed keeping in mind that, you know, we want like commercial, little office, housing mix, so that we are creating that vibrancy and you know, walking and, you know, all that.
Absolutely. No,
So-
I agree. I think, you know, first you would have to bring the residents in, you know, to establish that. And I think there's, you know, limited housing in the town center. So I think that adds to that, you know.
So I think, I'm just raising this so you know, when you go back, because we have to meet the, you know, regulations until, you know, it is changed. So the concern would be like the mixed use requirement under, you know, town center. And that's what I have. And then, you know, what else do you know, what the amenities are, for example, you know, would there be like a bike rack? I mean, you know, again, I'm looking at from perspective multifamily. You know, multifamily is like commercial type.
Sure.
You
Well,
know,
there is the two-car existing garage, so that would, you know, be offered to some of the tenants, you know, either, you know, individually or the whole garage, you know, that would offer them storage, bike racks,
Yeah.
you know, enclosed parking.
So is that a parking garage 4 Is that?
No, just
Or-
that's a two-car detached structure.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there is a 2-car separate
Mm-hmm.
detached. So it will all depend on who gets what, right?
I'm sorry?
It will all depend on who gets what, like
Sure,
this. Okay.
sure, you know.
Other things, like any beautification or anything, like green space, you know, like that, right? It's, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like details on what you're proposing. You know, we see that it's a landscape area, like what? I think that's what I have. Any other follow-up? Yeah.
Yeah, just one other question. So I see the note on the plan here, and I know, this is not a surveyed plan, I realize that, it's just an overlay. It says aerial photo shows existing two-car garage beyond lot line is not believed to be in reality over the lot line. So obviously, when you come in, you're gonna want to come in with a surveyed plan.
Sure, yeah.
Just to confirm that. But also, on the south side, well, I don't know, it's not north there, but on the south of the proposed addition, it shows an existing building on another property that goes over into your property, potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
So we'll see what that is.
I believe that could be the angle of the aerial photo too. If you think about it, if it were
Could be.
directly straight over, you wouldn't
Yeah.
see that. It appears that that structure is pretty close to the property line.
Yeah. Okay, that's for another day, though. Okay.
All right, any other follow-up? Yes.
Is it, are you going to remove the existing car garage structure?
Now, ideally, we'd like to keep it for set
Okay.
purposes for storage and bike storage and vehicle storage, which
Ri-
would,
Originally, I believe, or the original concept that was presented, at least to me, was to possibly take down that rear two-story structure and then add a separate structure back.
Correct.
And I think he presented that at the beginning.
initially, and then
Okay.
determining that doing an addition would probably be best.
Yeah. Under a pre-app, you know, it's concept, so that's really a non-issue. But if he comes in, it would have to be whatever, if they choose to apply, they would have to build whatever gets acted on.
And we'll see all that when we get a site plan.
Yeah, and then I think we talked about the affordable housing, you know, something to think about, because that's, again, as you pointed out, there's a lack of residential space, there's also lack of affordable space. And the town is struggling to provide those, so anything any of our applicants that come to the commission, we ask for that because we're trying to increase that and help.
Sure.
Yep.
That's something we could certainly discuss, yeah.
Yep.
I just had one question, and obviously it might be shown on the site plan when it's submitted, but egress for the second floor to propose is just one staircase?
No, there's two.
There is two?
There's, on the north side, closest to the road, you'll see a door there. That's the front egress. And then there's a rear staircase as well.
Okay.
Yep. Both units have full
So
front
I
and
guess the
rear.
question would be, would the rear staircase be exceeding the boundary of the property? I mean, the building, the proposed building, so it would be in the 15-foot buffer?
The egress for the second floor, you mean?
Yep.
That would be, I'm sure we would determine that with a building plan, you know, and figure where that would
Okay.
exit from. Ideally, we'd like it to exit to the front, you know, of the addition, you know, and not exit out the back.
Okay. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Item C, pre-app.
Pre-application AR Building Company for discussion purposes, the possible text amendment to the OP Office Park zoning district to allow multifamily development and the possible application for approximately 153 residential units plus amenities at 200 Capitol Boulevard in an office park zoning district ID 16-269.
I guess we'll just wait to load our presentation. I'll just introduce myself. My name is Jason Kambitsis, Kambitsis. I'm the president of AR Development Company. I'll give you a background on who we are. AR Building is our main company. AR Development's a subsidiary development company. We've been around since 1968. We build, buy, and manage all of our own properties. And what I mean by that is we go out, we entitle, acquire property, we build it as the general contractor, and then when we're done, we hold on to our properties. We don't sell them. We're not a merchant builder. We don't build for anybody else. We have over 9,000 units, and we're currently working in 14 states. Over the tenure of our company, sold maybe 300 or 400 units, so we're a long-term holder. We don't buy stuff and flip it. Another thing is our company's owned by one guy. I work for him. He started the company. It's owned directly by him. There's no outside partners, investors, or anything like that. It's just him. So we keep it pretty lean, and you know, we're not kind of dealing in the trends of other large corporations. We kind of get to come into, you know, different communities, as you can see by our map, and kind of work what we think makes the most sense in the market. So, you know, we've got all these projects that are going on and ones that are under development. And the closest ones we have under development here are, we've got two projects going on in Meriden. One's 112 units and one's 42 units. Then we have another one in Newington. That's 225 units. And we have another one in Brookfield that's 100 units. And we just got approved 201 unit project that we're waiting for final DEP sign off and everything towards the end of the year in Windsor. We currently have operating projects in New London and Groton. So we're finishing one up in New London, 86 units next to a 104-unit complex we have there. We have another 137 units in New London and 132 in Groton. So, you know, we're working diligently in Connecticut. 6 years ago, 7 years ago, we had nothing in New England, and now we're in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Maine. So we've been working to kind of expand our footprint in the region. Can I go to the next slide, Kim, or do you? Okay, there it is. Yeah, just kind of overview of some buildings and our kind of our executive staff. We have, of course, I have Emily with me, who deals with all the day-to-day here. I have Jeff, Vice President of Construction. Cam oversees our operations. It's all done out of Pittsburgh. So we have on-site staff who build our projects, our project managers, but all of the oversight and everything comes out of Pittsburgh. The operations, the oversight of our construction, our back of the house accounting, all is our headquarters in Pittsburgh. That building there is one we're
Can we-
building.
Before we proceed, I want to make sure public can see as well, like, right?
No,
No, they don't.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because,
Yeah, it's on the,
Well, if it's
No.
on the monitor.
what's on the
Yeah,
screen?
I don't know if they can see it
Oh.
here.
right, because I'm not sure if they can see it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think
So you want them to drop the screen, is that what you're asking?
yeah, because
Yeah. Oh.
That might not be for the
Yeah.
public, it might be for the public audience here.
I don't know
think
if they
on
can see.
TV, I think they could see
Yeah, they
this.
can see it.
See this?
Yes. They see the monitor as like we see it on TV, but these people here can't see it.
That's how, yeah, I see that.
Here we go, more public.
I don't know, dim the lights. Mood zone.
Just want to make sure before, you know.
Hey, whatever you need to do, I'm fine, yeah.
Arriving or what?
Can I continue?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes,
great.
Thank you.
So the building on the left there is one we're finishing up. It's actually further along than this. That's in East Providence, Rhode Island. It's 142 units. And you could see those siding, the brick, and I'll give you a few more examples. Go to the next slide. Okay, so on the bottom left is a project in North Kingstown, Rhode Island called Reynolds Farm. That's 225 units. That sits next to a newly developed single-family home project. I think there's probably 500 houses in there. And so we built that alongside of that. On the right is called Evergreen Apartments in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. That's 93 units we finished about 3 years ago. And on the bottom, there's the Regency. We just opened it up late last year, right outside of Pittsburgh. That's 120 units. And you can see from the exterior, we use long-lasting materials. So we use brick on all of our buildings. We use Trex decking, AZEK trim. Of course, we have the heavy-duty vinyl siding on it. So, you know, the reason we do that is not only for aesthetics, but also since we own these properties, we maintain them. So we like to make sure that we use the highest quality products possible. You can go to the next slide. It's the interior of our community spaces. So, you know, what we're going to show tonight is really a kind of preliminary understanding of what we want to do. But this one on the left is actually the one I just showed you, the Regency. Every community we have has a gym, you know, fitness center. We try to put a pool in. And then when we have all of our community space within one building, then we have, you know, different areas for people to congregate. Some of our buildings have rooftop decks, if that's what makes sense for the design. The bottom left and all across the bottom, you'll see the typical materials we use within our units. We use quartz countertops. Those are dark espresso cabinetry. This is house or condo kind of materials you would have in there. We're moving over to white cabinets. That's really, people really enjoy that. Stainless steel appliances. Every unit has in-house washer and dryer and full in-house HVAC system. So we actually use, you know, carrier units, something you would have in your house, not the wall packs. So, you know, we try to, again, create the best experience our residents can have. You can go to the next slide. So here's the property we're talking about on Capitol Boulevard. It's a 22-acre site. It's zoned OP, Office Park District. Currently, multifamily is not allowed in the OP district, and that's what we're talking about here tonight. At least we're bringing up the idea of a text amendment for the OP district. You can go to the next slide. So this is, you know, kind of a preliminary design of what we would do. We have an understanding from previous work of wetlands on the, I guess, to be the western side of the property. You know, some other stuff may have popped up, so we may have to move these around. So it's just preliminary understanding, but we're looking at 3 51-unit buildings, a clubhouse, and a pool. And I think that's it. So any questions, we're happy to talk about them.
I have a question. Where, two questions. First of all,
Yeah.
it hasn't been Enterprise Drive for about 10 years. It's Henkel Way now.
No,
No,
that's
no,
not right.
Still on a-
that is Enterprise Drive.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at the current map. I'm sorry. Pardon
That's
me.
okay.
And where is the Vessels building
Around the corner.
related to this? On Capitol?
Nope, that's on Henkel. So go down to the end of the stop sign, take a right, go up toward Brook Lawn.
Ah. Gotcha. Okay. I'm just looking at
This is the new surgical center,
Google Maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right there across the
Okay,
street.
never mind.
Okay.
I just wanted to clear that up before we got into,
Hey, I'm here, whatever.
that's it.
I don't think I contributed to that, but I'm definitely here.
Good job.
Yeah.
Mr. Israeli?
So, one of the things that we'll have to deliberate as a commission is, obviously, the text amendment and putting multifamily in an office park. So we'll have to have facts and figures on why we have to do that as part of this application, because there's a difference between the application and actually being able to do it in the zone. And so, one of the things I'd be looking at is why multifamily in an office park zone. So those are the things, but everything else seems straightforward. I mean, you know what you're doing, and it's understandable, and there's no blasting or anything that has to be done there. It's
Not that I know of at this
yeah,
point,
You
but
won't know until
yeah.
Geo and all that's done there, so.
You know, I will say, we have done other projects within corporate parks. Our first one we did in New England is called Highland Hills. It's in the Highland Corporate Center where CVS is. So if you go in, it's all, large-scale office buildings, and then we're tucked right in there. And kind of the benefit to that, traffic flow, no disturbance to other residents, things like that. And when these properties sit for a long time, you kind of lose momentum as to what's going to go in there. Things we were talking about from a text amendment standpoint, just a little background on the site as it stands today. There's 41 overall individual sites that are in the OP district, and 12 of them are vacant currently.
In ours.
Yes. And we have the largest piece we're talking about. It's 22 acres. The next one is 14.4. So from a zone perspective, just like the gentleman was talking about the TC zone and kind of how do you fit that within there, it could be, in order to have multifamily, it has to be over 20 acres or something like that. Would be a way to, if you really wanted to limit it but wanted to make the use applicable, that's one thing you could do. But again, we get into this from a entitlement standpoint. It's an amendment from an existing OSTA permit. All the utilities are there. So we kind of view it as a real nice, addition. There's a lot going on here, especially on the outside of the office park. There's an existing one, and then what we have going on downtown. We just, we like these kind of sites. They make a lot of sense for us.
I don't have anything further.
Mr. Glico?
Good.
No, I don't really have any comments, other than when you come in, if you come in with an application, we want to see, renderings of what this would look like in relation to everything else.
Oh, of course, yeah, sure.
In the area, given that it is a different use. There's sidewalks there now, or are there not sidewalks?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, there's sidewalks.
Yeah, there are.
Okay. So that's good.
Well, first of all, I got to tell Google Maps to update their map, not yours.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
I'm embarrassed by that.
Don't be, that's fine.
Just this is, you're going to come in with two applications, one for a proposed text zone change.
Yeah.
And then if you get it approved, then at some period after that, maybe the next month or two, you'll come in with your actual.
Yeah, for the site plan, I think is what we would be doing here.
Yeah. Okay, that's all. I mean, this isn't going to be all one single.
No, it would come in to allow the use, and then we would come back and then go from there. Of course, the use that we would be showing would be very similar to what we would be coming through. And I would imagine from a text amendment standpoint, you're not, when you make the text amendment, you're saying, hey, this could be something here, this is what could happen, but it's not an approval of that.
Correct, yeah. You could be way ahead of yourself and waste a lot of money if we decide that we don't.
Sure,
want
I
to.
understand that.
So anyhow, that's it.
Commissioner?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the same, which is, in order to go forward with a text amendment, we'd have to understand, what the value add would be to us, and then also combine that with the precedent that it would set for the rest of the remaining vacant parcels in that area. That would, would our office park now become,
Yeah.
an attraction for more folks to come in to convert the office park into multifamily. So we've got to wrestle with the precedent factors of these things. So you somehow would have to see how that value of making that text changed outweighs the potential
When you define
cumulative impacts.
when you
of the
define
individual
value,
impact.
what is value to you? Like, you know, we know that, you know, we'll build a good product and all that, but when you talk about that, what do you?
Yeah, I mean, value would be anything from text-based to
Sure.
to
We can't do.
Yeah,
we
we can
can't
discuss.
deal with.
Out of our,
no, I know. I'm just saying is you know, just from the sake of we've selected these areas for particular zoning. Again, I'm saying that's what we have to wrestle with in our minds here. I
Yeah,
don't
sure.
know how you would even attempt to do too much of that. You know, if this were a subdivision plan, you know, we could tell you, oh, you need to do traffic, you need to do this and that. But right now, we're just really dealing with a text amendment. So that's what, yeah, we would have to amongst ourselves discuss where we want to go with this.
I see that as an easy thing for them to do. Based upon what we've seen and what this commission has seen in the past, I think it's an easy thing for them to do.
There was a-
It was a different application.
The changing from an office use to another use, I know this commission has seen that in the past, and we get those requests all the time. So I think there's, and then the gentleman did mention, Jason did mention something about amendments can certainly be written in such a way. Obviously, you can't make an amendment just targeted towards one property, but it can still be written in such a way that, you know, any parcel over a certain size, that may be something, or certain site characteristics, you know, so there may be a way to do that, but that's if they decide to apply, yeah.
I don't think anything else.
Yeah, and I think you know, beyond what is germane to a commission vote and what isn't, we can kind of show really the overall value that we get. I mean, really the continue housing diversity that you get within the community and, you know, new residents and the need for that. I mean, it's what we're seeing is that, I mean, there's just such a need for housing everywhere we go. And that's why we're working in these areas. And we kind of target these areas because we have the ability to work at a scale of, you know, how a REIT or large institutional investors do that, but are not kind of obligated to building the kind of stuff that they build or the scale that we build. So we really work in 100 to 250 unit sites. Very few other companies have our kind of business structure that do that. So we're able to, you know, target these areas. So, but anyways, I think we can talk about all that as we get closer. So I appreciate that.
Brescia?
Is your place in Newington, is that the one near Sam's?
It's right behind Lowe's. It's a brand new, we've just cleared the site.
Oh, okay. Behind Lowe's, all right.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know the area?
Yeah, oh yeah. I thought it was the one that's next, you know, the one next to Sam's?
Yeah, yeah. It's on, geez, what's the name? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Deming, yes. Yes.
You take Kobe Road down, all the way down,
Yeah.
and on the left.
Yeah, there's an older apartment complex across the street from us. There's condos to the next, but if you would go to like, there's the Chick-fil-A, there's the Lowe's, and there's actually, you know, a little stream gully back there right on the other side of that. So we just finished clearing the site and they're stockpiling the topsoil and all that kind of stuff, so.
And is this a pool that's in your dining?
That's what's shown there, yeah. Didn't come across too well, but that would be a pool there. We do pools in all of our developments, and we tend to find, even as we go farther north, I mean, we've got stuff in Maine, it's like, oh, we're putting in a pool, and people go, well, you don't really use the pool, but you know, you can't heat them, and people do enjoy that, so.
You need pickleball courts.
So we're looking at that in our new places of, yeah, I know, it's a big, something people like, yeah, yeah.
All right. So I think as the commissioner was mentioning, it's we are looking at, you know, what are the reasons that
Sure.
the commission would change from office park to, and especially because, as you know, town is divided into different sections, and there's a reason why office park is where office park is, and residential is where residential, commercial,
Sure.
That kind of stuff. So, again, we realize housing need, because we have approved a couple of projects, and but I think we also recognize the need for office space,
Yeah.
and office park, and what that use allows. So, there are limited parcels available for those type of things.
Yeah.
So we're trying to, so for us to make that decision, I think you have to present, why a change is necessary, or why we should support a change. The other thing is looking at the plan itself. I see a lot of parking when you drive by. You will see a parking lot. So it's just aesthetics. We want to make sure that
Sure.
aesthetically it's pleasing. You don't see blacktop right there, and people, so
Yeah.
something if you can do to hide that, when you are designing, the buildings.
Create a community.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to create something where people, that are walking on Henkel Way
Sure.
or wherever, and, it's a inviting community. Green space, recreational space, not just within the building, but even outside,
Sure.
that kind of stuff. Do you use like sustainable concepts in your building material?
Yeah, I mean,
Solar,
what I've always said, and it continues to be that way, is when you build a new building, it's pretty efficient. And we've even moved to the ZIP system, and we try to make the building so airtight, which actually becomes problematic because you can't get enough air exchange because the buildings are so tight. So we look to that. We've always looked towards solar, and can't make any of it make sense no matter what we do to do that. But we do have EV charging spots, and we are set up in the future by putting the conduit in to have more of that. So we try to do that as much as possible. In areas where where there is a need for it, we include bike storage, a lot of it, so people have the ability to go and utilize their bikes. And so we try to be as responsive to that as possible.
yeah, because talking about bikes, that's something, this town is also looking at,
Yeah,
providing, bicycle lanes and things like
Sure,
that. So I
yeah.
think that's one of the features that, we are looking for as well, like, what is offered.
yeah, sure.
I think,
This is for zone change, when they actually come in before their actual site plan application.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
the
of
whole
it.
thing.
It's all of it.
We'll get another pre-application hearing.
No,
no,
this is
this
everything.
is it.
Okay.
Yep. So, again, I mean, they are here to hear from us. So these are things that, at least I'm interested in, and trying to promote, so that we are promoting all these different aspects
Yeah,
of things like, energy efficiency, sustainable, materials used in, green space, open
Yeah.
space,
yeah. And what you guys are asking about is really what a lot ask for, but also what people expect in the market today. So, we always kind of tout ourselves, the buildings, again, they're very efficient from a utility standpoint. People spend, I don't know, $40 a month in utilities. There's just nothing there. Yeah, we're happy to talk about all that. I will say one thing about the site constraint is as we got into it, there's probably, that site plan probably doesn't work in the sense there's wetlands that we will stay out of and out of the buffers, but it kind of limits the usability of the property for anything else, which we can show that compared to some of the other ones that are wide open. If you go look at the property, you think, oh, I got 22 acres here. It's a lot. It doesn't really meet, I would say, the footprint of what else exists in that office park. So something to just think about, and I think we could show that too.
And the other thing, as you heard before, is the affordability and the affordable units. So we, definitely would be looking for that as well.
Sure, yeah.
15, 20%, something, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we can, we'll look at that
Very
when
good.
it comes.
Yeah. We do that as well, so it's not an issue.
So that, I don't know if anyone has any other questions that come up.
When I first went through, I only went through the zoning part of it, but just looking at the plan, some of the things that I look at, I see that you're possibly looking at 2 curb cuts. We'd like to have like curb cuts that align with others, so we're not just having cars jun in and jun out.
Sure.
Capitol Boulevard is very busy, so maybe your entrance could be on Enterprise rather than Capitol. And then also, to several people's points here, make it so that you just don't see parking coming down the street. The aesthetics, like, for example, like the clubhouse and the pool, maybe shift it with the building so it's on the other side, so there's some privacy and
Sure,
those
yeah.
kind of things, with, how it looks to the street. And because right across the street is a medical building, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on there, and it's.
Yeah.
And, you just don't want a pool in front of a medical building, but
Yeah.
I understand how, like you said, the
Yeah, there's
site
gonna be a lot of
topography and all that,
changes to it, yeah.
that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's kind of it. I mean, I'm just looking at it now, I see 2 curb cuts, and I just wanted to bring that up, that
Yeah.
we kind of like to align things so there's not as many craziness going on when it comes to traffic.
Understood, yeah.
Just quick, in reference to the 22 acres, what is the proposed acreage of what you're looking to develop, roughly?
I would say it's probably half that.
Okay.
But if even that much of actual development, I'm just thinking, but it's a large portion of the western part of it is, wetlands, and then
it
we
looks
we
like-
suspect up front where I show the pool and everything, that might be wetlands too. So really what you have is that corner would actually be, you'd be pulled back anyway, so you wouldn't have buildings or parking there, so.
And is that the high-powered
Yeah,
water easement?
there's an easement on the side there, yeah.
That's all I got.
Any other questions?
Any of the units would be handicapped accessible?
I think in Connecticut, it's either 6% or 10% have to be handicap accessible. So we make them, we do that. So we've handicap accessible ones, and then we have ones that are handicap ready. So they may not have all the stuff in them, but they're designed for that. But yeah, we meet all the state requirements for all of that. And what that means realistically is, when you go into all the bathrooms, they all have the turning radius for a wheelchair. Every unit has that. When you go into the ones that are ready, the countertops are at 30 inches versus 36. We don't have a high microwave. Rather, we have one that has to go on the counter. We're just thinking about we might put those as a in cabinet one that slides out. So there are things that have to be done within the unit to do that.
Right, and if there's children too, you probably wouldn't want them walking around on Capitol Boulevard.
No.
So I know a lot of trucks and heavy-duty equipment go down that way to go to Brook Street.
Sure. Yeah.
So bus routes and things,
Sure.
just to consider things to be,
Yep.
organized.
You got it.
Okay.
I mean, the other thing is just to think about is the security. I mean, these days, there are a lot of incidents where projects like this have been vandalized, and, so trying to make sure that the security, I don't know what.
Yeah, we have cameras on everything, and we have a system, kind of like a social media for the community that everybody could sign up for to alert people of anything that's going on. And of course, we have on site, during the day, they're all our staff, but we definitely have security for that. All the buildings are secure. You can't just walk in and out of them. The clubhouse, everything like that is such. You can't even get into the fence without your keypad. So it's, we keep it as secure as possible. And again, not only for the idea of, hey, we don't want anybody to rob this place to do. We just want people to feel comfortable about where they're at. And so the buildings themselves, at least the ones that I showed you and what we're proposing here, are 4-story elevated. So what that means is you have 2 stairwell entrances, and then you have, depending on how we design them, 1 main entrance, and that's it. So it's not like a three-story walk-up building that you see where there's a center stairwell and people go up and anybody can go in. The buildings are secure themselves. So,
Did we talk about the, how many stories?
4.
4 stories.
You could have elevators in there
They
too?
all have elevators in them. Yeah.
Big elevators. Kind that you could fit like ambulance stretchers in.
They all have to fit ambulance stretchers in.
Oh.
Yeah. No, ours are designed that way. We do that, yeah.
And again, like we talked about facade and all that, you
Yep.
know, looking at various like brick, stone, whatever they
Yep.
might be,
Yeah.
you know,
We can do all that.
look. Okay.
Very good.
Picnic
Any,
tables,
Questions?
We have some of those, yeah.
picnic tables.
All right, thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all. Have a great evening.
You too now. Moving on to item D.
Discussion and set public hearing date. Town of Rocky Hill proposing to modify the Rocky Hill zoning regulations, section 4B24, commercial type uses to add licensed adult use cannabis retail in accordance with section 60 in the RC Regional Commercial, C Commercial, BP1 Business Park, and 1 BP Business Park 1 and BP Business Park 2 zoning districts, and to delete the licensed medical and to delete the licensed medical marijuana dispensary use from the town center zoning district in section 4B24.
Last month, the commission actually approved as a use in the town of Rocky Hill, adult use cannabis. In looking at our current, we had to assign zones to that use. In looking at our section 4B2, commercial type uses, I saw licensed medical marijuana dispensary, and I saw it listed in the town center zone, and I thought, do we really want that in the town center zone? I'm proposing that we remove it from the town center zone. We do not include adult use cannabis from the town center zone. We would, I'm suggesting, as with the medical marijuana dispensaries, the allowance be in the RC Regional Commercial, the C Commercial, BP1, and BP2 Business Park zones. Now, I know at the last meeting when we were discussing this in general, and we weren't getting into separation distances, there was some mention as to separation distances being similar to that of alcohol. I think Commissioner Lecco raised that. I've included what our current regulations are. The current regulations being the dispensaries, a property on which a dispensary is located shall not be permitted within 1,000 feet of any portion of a property on which a duly organized school, municipal park/recreational facility, place of worship is located, or within 200 feet of a boundary of a residential zoning district as designated on the official zoning map. That's our current regulations, which is actually more restricted than the producer regulations. The sale of alcoholic beverages, that is different. We didn't modify these, and I'll go into some detail on that, but sale of alcoholic beverages, page 86. Separation distances for that, and we're talking about package stores or retail liquor sales, not restaurants. Separation distances, you should have no building or premises shall be used, erected, or structurally altered, which shall be arranged, intended, or designed to be used for the sale of an alcoholic beverage if any part of such building or premise shall be situated A, on any part of a lot within a radius of 1,500 feet of any part of another lot used for the purpose of selling alcoholic beverages, or within 1,500 feet of any part of another lot used to be reserved or to be used for a public school, duly organized school, or other than a public school, church, charitable institution, hospital, or library. So they use that 1,500-foot rule. Sales of alcoholic beverages in retail or package stores, as we commonly call them, they are not, I'd say, as regulated as marijuana dispensary is with respect to licensing, with respect to security, with respect to some places actually have appointments that you have to go and make an appointment to obtain your products. When marijuana became legal in the state of Connecticut, the mayor of Rocky Hill and the manager had invited a company up from Springfield, Mass, down here, and we got a quick education on what these facilities do, and oftentimes they have appointments where people have to come up and get orders, and there's security guards outside, what have you. But that's why we didn't change these distance requirements, but I know it came up last time, and I didn't know if the commission wanted to discuss that. I'd like to go ahead with the hearing, or setting a hearing for the next month on at least the other items as far as what zones they could be located. But if there is some change that the commission wants to do with this, by all means, I would like to have that discussion now.
Do you have any proposed changes that you would like?
That's why the language is right here. I feel because of there's more security involved with respect to marijuana products than there is with alcohol. People can just walk into a package store where it seems like it's more secure based upon at least what
So you want us to look
we're
and
told.
suggest changes for?
Either if you want to suggest changes, I don't know if you want to suggest changes.
I'd like to look it over.
Okay, I mean, these regulations have been in existence since the regulations took effect, so.
So then the hearing you're asking for would be preliminary, the
The
zones.
hearing is page 1, the
Right.
amendments to section 4B2. Because
Okay.
everything else is already in existence. Page 91, which is the second sheet of that handout, page 91 is in existence now. That's the way it is now.
Okay.
Page 49, that's section 4B2, where you actually list the uses and in what zones they would be located. That would be the change, where we eliminate the licensed medical marijuana dispensary, that use from the town center zone. And we add adult use cannabis, which is already a approved use in town, but we actually assign it zones to the RC regional commercial, the C commercial, BP1 and BP2 business park zones.
Okay, I got it.
Open up for discussion. Commissioner
I
Morelli?
have nothing.
Yeah,
Nico?
I have to agree with Commissioner. I think we should look at the restrictions as they fall in with alcohol. To this, it should at least meet the same restrictions, if not exceed it. I understand the security aspect, but I think it's the advertisement and having them too close together would be a bigger.
Okay, like a separation.
So I think you mentioned it's 1,000 feet, but it's 1,500 for package stores.
Correct.
So I would, in my opinion, I would think it should be at least 1,500 feet, if not more. I don't think it should be less than 1,500 feet.
Okay. Now, the way this regulation is written is, the way it presently says, it doesn't have separation distances between, on the producer it does. A property on which, for the medical marijuana and adult use cannabis producer, a property on which a producer is located shall not be permitted within 1,000 feet of any portion of a property on which another producer is located. So I assume you're suggesting that a
Spacing between retail.
retail
Right,
should
now,
be.
isn't there spacing between retail and package stores?
Correct, that's 1,500.
1,500 feet. So I'm saying that it should be a minimum 1,500 feet.
Okay,
If not more. I mean, that's
Okay.
for discussion.
Yep.
okay.
For producers or for?
No,
For
for
retail.
retail.
Right, yeah, okay.
Dispensary.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree, for consistency purposes alone, I mean, we could argue whether 1,000 feet or 1,500 feet. To me, it doesn't matter, that's not significant, but
Okay.
the consistency is what I think we should strive for.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I guess the other question would be 200 feet from the boundary of a residential zone district. Is 200 sufficient? I mean, that's,
We have, shall not be permitted within 200 feet. We have that for producer as well. With respect to alcoholic beverages, it's basically 1,500 feet to 1,500 feet with respect to property line for establishments that have package stores on them, but it doesn't talk about residential zones.
So you
with
could have a
respect to-
package store next to a residential zone, or next to a residential zone.
so should we look
You
at
do now.
changing that 200 to like 500 feet away from a residential? I mean, is adding more of a restriction?
And we want to make sure that, I mean, if we're allowing it in town, we need to make sure that there is at least a space that can be used now. I mean,
Kim,
You know-
to these commissioners' points, we have a zoning map that has like a bumblebee carve-out for setback areas for medical marijuana. Does this actually go away now? And
oh, that was a proposal. Was that a proposal?
it says areas conforming to current setback requirements for medical marijuana dispensary, section 602.
Yeah, that was when we were discussing it at one point.
Yeah.
So this is not an active map then?
No,
And I
the
can tear it
zoning
up.
map is what, that was for discussion purposes way back when because you remember, we kept trying to introduce the subject.
Okay.
And
You remember when we had that discussion, though? We had a lengthy discussion about it, and what I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we were trying to limit it to the area down between the interchange of Celestine Highway and Interstate 91.
Yeah,
So
up here.
people would just come in, leave.
And get out, yeah.
Get it and go.
Yeah.
And then by doing that, we don't have all these other issues. I mean, even with the setbacks.
Well, that's why I was saying, what zones, I mean, I don't know if that could be for the public hearing and not for this, but if you want to go in with something more concrete, then, I'm looking at this, I'm just saying like, okay, BP one, or I see them all, but then we look at these, beehive indications here.
And they're excluded or used?
No, that's where they can
They
work.
can, okay.
So we've already had a discussion about where it can work, but, I mean, to your point, though, it didn't go anywhere, so.
it didn't, no, there was no, it really wasn't, the
But
commission
there was
didn't-
some working knowledge about what we were doing here, and do we just keep on going with this model, knowing that we have something in front of us? Or do we be nebulous and say it's good in all these zones and we talk about it at the public hearing? I look at it, I mean, BP one, it's
BP one,
small,
probably not.
but I mean, we have like,
But the area of BP two out on Cromwell Avenue.
yeah, exactly, in the office park.
Say Inwood Road area, that area may work.
Yeah.
But not down
Then we-
here, not
then
down
we have the-
Tiverton Road, but.
Then I
it's
see
a
the
different-
consistency issue again, whereas we don't have alcohol,
two of them.
sale of alcohol in BP1 or BP2. So why would we want to sell marijuana in BP1 or?
I mean, this says effective.
Well, it was,
It says effective July 30, 2017.
But I think that's the map.
That's the base
That was
map.
when
That's
that
the base map.
That's-
And they
And that's,
drew-
that's why I wanted to confirm, we have this and was the discussion point.
No, that was,
need
that
to-
was just for discussion
Yeah,
purposes.
do we need to make it part of this discussion again to actually say it's gonna be, so that we have something more concrete?
I think, I mean, it looks like in the beginning, if we have certain areas identified, that would probably make sense until we know how
Well,
things
does
are
it make,
working.
does it make sense for the public meeting to have a map like this?
Yeah.
And have the current distances? Like, where can they actually go in these zones? And that
Based
way-
upon what we have today.
Correct. And then we could say, oh my God, that's very extensive. Oh, you know what? Oh, it works. Actually seeing it on paper, it actually works.
Yeah.
I think a visual to our distances would go far away when we deliberate on a public hearing. And the public would know more than just, hey, 1,000 feet, whatever.
Right.
What does that mean?
And how would
And then
the-
if you place large setbacks, does that effectively exclude almost every property?
Yeah, I mean.
You know,
literally.
in effect, are you
You're,
doing? are you doing-
you're in one location in town. And
Yeah,
then-
one location.
then it's-
There's
then
the
it's-
spot, you
then the-
know?
Then the whole thing is moot after that.
If you
Exactly.
look at the Silas Dean Highway, 99, you've got a whole commercial row there, and right behind it on Chapin Avenue is residential
Residential.
houses. I don't know the distances, but
And
I don't
school.
think it's 200 feet.
And schools.
And then the high school.
Schools, yeah,
Yep.
right,
So,
so
I mean, yeah, we
That's the
really,
way our town is, you know, it's compact.
you can't go back.
So that's why seeing distances, seeing where they actually could
kind of
go
map, yep.
would work, so we actually know.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, 20 years ago, we looked at a house on Chapin Avenue, and we stood on the front lawn, we could see the Silas Dean, and we were on the opposite side, because you could see through a
buy
guy's
it?
backyard.
Did you buy it?
No.
Yeah, the lots on Solacene Highway are very shallow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are very shallow, so those distances, especially, you know,
and then you've got old.
as you
Moon
get, as you get south of the regional commercial zone, because you were talking about the regional commercial zone, and I totally agree, that's a good spot for this type of use. Easy on, easy off, and more higher, you know, higher trafficked area.
Some working knowledge that I would also look at is that where are they already doing this? Are there adjoining towns that are already doing this? Newington, I think, is doing it, right?
Newington,
Weathersfield's
on the
not yet,
Burlington,
right?
Berlin
Cromwell's not.
Berlin Turnpike on,
Yeah, so I'm just,
Two on the Berlin Turnpike.
yeah, but I mean,
Right.
but that's in the type of zone where we're talking with, in the regional.
Yep.
That's the same idea.
Right.
So I think it all just
I
comes
think
down
that
to
makes sense, yeah. I
distance
think
and
it's-
impact.
Yep,
yeah, okay,
so,
okay.
How
so
about,
we'll have that
That's good
information,
feedback.
and then we will set up the date.
yeah, I
next
think
time,
that's a good idea, to
because
know what we're
let's-
doing before
Okay.
we set a
Guys,
date.
you're right.
Okay, perfect.
Now, if we don't set a date for next month, that wouldn't retard anything or
No, it's nothing, this is just
Hold it. This-
proposed, no.
for the future? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good,
I have just one minor point related to the existing regulations regarding dispensaries. We say, you can't be within 1,000 feet of specific structures, schools, recreational facilities, places of worship. Those are specific structures, those are not districts. Then we say you can't be within 200 feet of the boundary of a residential zoning district. But there could be residential units in a existing commercial zone.
That's correct, that would be a
But that would be
non-conforming structure.
But that doesn't matter, it's not in a zoning district, it's not in a residential district, so you could put a medical marijuana dispensary next to those, within 200 feet of those homes, even if because those homes are not in a residential district. They're
That's
in
the
a-
way this regulation reads.
Yeah, okay,
So to
I don't know how
expand-
many instances there are of that, but I'm thinking of the proposal that was before us today, or the
Well,
discussion that we
there was a
had.
pre-application in the town center zone, and I'm proposing not to have any dispensaries allowed in the town center zone.
That makes sense, because it would
Yeah.
probably be next to a home, somebody's home.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a mixed use, right? And there is like a retail at the bottom and residential on top,
Yeah. But
probably
if we're,
that will
we're-
work.
if we're not allowing it, though, then it's not allowed there.
So,
Okay.
so we're gonna review this next month, I presume?
Correct.
And then go forward from there?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the feedback.
So just so that we complete the circle, based on the discussions we have, do you think we should look at this again? Try to match it up, the existing zoning?
Well, that's what she's.
I think
she's
that,
going
I
through
think
here.
that comes out of visually seeing
Yep,
what we have now.
okay.
And if we have to modify it.
Then it
Then
would
we can
affect
look
both,
at,
yep.
then we can look at it all.
Yep,
And just do all three things all at once
right,
at one hearing.
okay.
Yep.
They're all related.
Intertwined.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. Item 5A, any zoning enforcement?
Ben printed out his sheet for this month. I did receive a new complaint concerning blight, so I'll get on that. We're seeing the start of spring complaints where we have tall grass complaints starting to come in. We're getting some odd complaints that we have nothing to do with. And we're seeing a lot of neighbor disputes. Chickens, dog poop. We don't regulate that. Nope. And that won't be in our future either. That's a warning to whoever's listening. Noise complaints are starting up, and our noise ordinance is a unique thing. We're going to suggest a revision to our noise ordinance because we have, it's a combination of personnel that may not be trained or equipment that's not calibrated. So I'm going to propose a new ordinance going more towards hours and what's maybe exempt from that. We are getting a few blight complaints. Some people have been working towards compliance, but not quite there yet, whereas others, I guess, have started up getting some reports of abandoned homes, foreclosures that are, the condition of the property is going downhill, so. And signs. It's my understanding Ben has been going around picking up a lot of signs on town right-of-ways and things, so,
Starting.
yes.
So, Kim, I have a question. This is all new. Like, so next month, none of this is gonna be on the list? It's gonna be, is it as new?
I got this today, but when, it may be on the list if it's so,
Right, so I guess my question is, pending issues, are they still on a list? Or
we have a ongoing spreadsheet.
Okay.
So if you want to see that here as well, we can do that.
I think it'd be good to have,
Because it's hard
See
to
the
tell.
working
what's-
until
I
it's
like the ones
gone.
that are
See the working
I
list.
just received this today, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any minor modifications?
I did have a discussion with one individual the end of last week and this week also concerning a property. I do believe it will be a minor modification. It hasn't formally come in yet. It's based upon our modified regulations for what is a minor modification. It's going from a retail use to a personal service use, so the parking requirements will be the same. And according to the minor modifications, it would be classified as that, though I'm asking them for something in writing explaining exactly what they want to do, square footages, what have you. And then if it's in fact what they said on the phone, that would be approved as a minor change, and that will come for discussion next meeting.
PIC committee, plan implementation. We didn't have a meeting in last month, so. Affordable housing committee.
Affordable Housing had their first meeting. It was a special meeting because they hadn't set up the group yet. At their next meeting, May 2nd, they will actually have election of officers. They did review a set of bylaws. They were informed that they will be electing officers. It is a working group. It was clearly expressed to them that they are not like a planning and zoning or an open space commission where they actually make, decisions. They have to go to other boards, say come to planning and zoning or come to the town council to talk about creating an affordable housing fund. That seems to be one of their priority projects, to at least get the ordinance in place for an affordable housing fund, which is good. They went around and did introductions as far as their vocational backgrounds, educational backgrounds, and why they're interested in affordable housing. It's a good mix of folks from vocational backgrounds and from where they reside in the community as well. We do have residents from affordable housing developments, which is great. And we do have residents from all ages in town. We do have a high school student on the board as well, which is great also.
Is it on our website so we know, do you know the members?
Yes. It should be on the website. And it's not under Affordable Housing Committee. It's under Rocky Hill Affordable Housing Committee. So it was just so if you are looking for something, that's where it would be. Eileen has agreed to do the minutes for that meeting. She doesn't have to attend the meetings, but at least do the minutes, so that's nice. We appreciate that more than you know. So thank you there. So they'll be meeting again on May 2nd.
May 2nd? So it's a monthly meeting?
Well, per the ordinance, they can meet every other month. They can have
Okay.
6 meetings, but they want to meet more often, so they're meeting once a month.
All right.
We'll see. how it goes.
Legislation.
There was something I had about, I know this has come up before. There's a raised bill at the General Assembly, and there's a lot of legislation out there. There's raised bill number 5315, which is about remote meetings, hybrid municipal public agency meetings under the FOI, Freedom of Information Act. They're stating in here, and I know this issue has come up in some commissions, about the people where to the maximum extent practicable, you must be visible on screen to be participating. So if you're zooming in from home, you have to be visible on the screen. You can't be, oops, I'm going to take a vote off screen and your voice is there. So they actually putting that in the law. So I like that. So that's good. There's something, there's another one going on, and while it's not necessarily for this commission, it's more for the town, but they're looking under, it's a Senate Bill 191. They're looking to divert food scraps from the waste stream. And I know the town's part of a pilot program right now, looking at that, and there's something down the transfer station as far as a food scrap bin. You can certainly drop your food scraps off there as well. So they're looking at making that an ordinance where the towns would have to, by a certain year, create a town ordinance to actually have food scraps separated from your trash. So a lot of these things are in committees and haven't come in, but I've signed up for getting some of the different committees' proposed legislation. So as it comes in, if I find it pertinent, I'll bring it to your attention.
I just wanted to add, it's not on the agenda, that we had the CROG Planning Commission meeting was about 2-3 weeks ago. And
Okay.
I was asked to do a quick summary. It'll be very quick.
I will put that on the agenda from now on.
It's only every 2 months.
It's okay. I'll put it on there every meeting.
Okay, well, I just wanted to, it was a 2-hour and 10-minute meeting. It was a virtual meeting, which was good. And there are 38 towns involved. In our region, there were only 39 people online and half a dozen people in the commission itself, in CROG itself. So several towns didn't didn't show up, but you don't know what they are unless you get, I mean, after the fact, you know. And basically, it was a very simple agenda. They reviewed what their plans are for the year, and we introduced everybody and said what our background was regarding commissions and whatever we belong to. And I'd say, you mentioned you have to be on screen. I'd say more than half the people were just calling in on their phones or didn't have, all they had was the black box, like you see me do sometimes. So I don't know if that's going to affect it, if they ever do actually enact this. But it was interesting, but it was a preliminary meeting just for everybody to get a feel for what was going on. And the next meeting's going to be in June.
Okay,
So that's 2 hours and 10 minutes and 35 seconds.
Nice, thank you.
thank you. Thank you. I'm going to add it to every month, and you
Yep.
can just say no report.
Okay, that's good.
Perfect.
All right. Any other legislation?
No.
I think we all have, should have discussed these under,
But we have something.
maybe.
Oh, I do. I have a few different things. Sorry about that. Raise bill, I had raise bill 5474. This was on the Planning and Development Committee. An act requiring municipal reports concerning residential construction approval to the Office of Responsible Growth. There is in Office of Policy and Management at the state level, a State Responsible Growth Coordinator, Rebecca Auger, who used to work with CROG. And the office was created under Public Act 23207 to coordinate efforts revitalizing municipalities, and it's to report on residential units being built and building permits, things like that. So that will, should this come to be, that will affect our town building department. So, and we, planning and zoning, anything that P and Z approves will have to be reported to them as well. Yeah, we're finding there's a lot more things that need to be reported to the state, and just trying to keep track of all these new laws is an experience. So,
All right.
we did have a request about, I know, the outdoor storage or sales. I asked Ben to look into that, and he did, he started the search. He did find something, so I said, let's get that in the packet, and he's going to keep searching. But there was something back in 2019 at Walmart. I know that came up where there was a plan, and it shows on the back of the page. And this is the front of Walmart as you're walking into the store, in front of where the enclosed seasonal area was constructed, the newest addition to the building, down at the end of the parking. So they did have some areas there that were at 2019. But I think there's some other area that was approved further south. So we're going to dig some further and see if we can find anything on that.
And he will report whether this storage is happening and all that, right? So we'll just confirm.
These are just examples of what we have in town? Or-
No, this was, it was requested.
This was done.
Yeah,
No,
this
no.
was done,
This
but
is
I mean,
not-
we're,
This is what was done. This was
at our
2019.
last meeting, there was a question about, well, there's a lot of other places.
Right.
Yeah, and that had been reported.
Okay.
So,
I think that was sidewalks. Selling on the sidewalks, like Big Y has
Yeah, so I think that was,
a parking lot.
yeah.
That was
Big-
kind of
big-
thing.
Big Y, yeah, because
was any other
Big Y, West Side, Stop and Shop.
West Side's taking all their stuff
But
away.
but they've always had things
I
outside.
know, yeah.
All these shopping centers, all these.
Correct, but not in their parking lot. It was on their sidewalks.
Correct.
sidewalks.
Right.
Yeah, Walmart actually got approved by planning and zoning, however.
Correct, but I think then they built the greenhouses and now everything's inside.
No, but they came back after that.
Oh,
They still
Yeah,
have,
no, they had stuff outside not
yeah,
long ago.
they
Yeah,
still have.
they came.
that part of the parking now is pickup for online pickup.
No, some other stuff too, but anyway.
because this was in 19, so,
Yeah.
5
so
years ago.
that's, yeah.
It's different
There
now.
might have been before,
Yeah. Well,
but that's searching, so we'll know.
go down there tomorrow, check it out.
I just had a question about the training that commission members have to undertake. So do we have to take the training every year? Or do we know?
I think it's
Or is that
off
once?
the top of my head. I don't. No, it's not once.
Okay.
But it's you have a period of time in which to complete it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
I sent you an email asking about that, because I think all of us pretty much filled it in at the end of the year. So does that end of
And
the
that gets
year?
reported. And that gets reported.
Right.
And
Does
then
that
you have
apply for
another
this
time
year?
frame, and then guess what? You get to do it again.
But we don't know what that is yet.
Correct.
Okay.
Similar
So-
training, you're going to have your 1 hour of affordable housing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have your 1 hour of
I did
ethics.
6
you're
and a
gonna
half
have-
hours, so I'm good
So
for
you're-
3 more years.
Well, no, yeah.
All right, any other communication? None, we don't have approved bills. Motion to,
Motion to adjourn.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Thank you.